First one of the year.
With that said, I think now is a good time, with all of this backstory, let's jump in on this question.
Yeah.
Because this question, honestly, I mean, sorry, bro, but I did laugh when I read this, and not at you, but just...
So let me set the stage real quick.
Yeah,
and I think it speaks to it. We are in our 40s. We're freaking old.
We're old.
From our perspective.
Yeah, old balls.
I've talked to people who are 60 and 70, and they're like, dude, 40's nothing. But for us to see somebody who is 18 say, is it too late to make a change? It's a little comical.
Yeah.
It just is, right?
Yeah.
It's almost cute.
And what's going to be even more special for you is when you turn 40 and you look back and you're like, oh, fuck.
Oh, dude.
I thought that was a big deal.
Some of the things that bring me the most joy are laughing at the stupid things I did or said, or the perspectives I had that were so small. I had such a small view of the world. Looking back on it, I love to laugh at myself in that way. It truly brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah, man. If you can laugh at yourself, you win in almost every scenario.
Yeah.
So here's the question, right? So this is an 18-year-old young man, and his question is 18 too late to start pursuing a sport? And for him, he means rock climbing. He says he took some football classes. I'm assuming he's talking about soccer. Either way, football or soccer, when he was 10, but never continuously pursued any sport. And feels like he's wasted, his words, wasted his years 14 through 17. He's turning 18 in a few days, interested in picking up rock climbing, and wants to know, is it too late? He's added a little color to it. He said he wants to do rock climbing first for the adventure, and second, he wants to win some competitions here and there, not going to become a pro or anything like that. But going back to our conversation, he has his why. And I think the first why is what's important, is for adventure. But straight up, no, bro.
No,
you're not too old.
Not by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, I mean, okay, I get it. 14 to 17, 3 years in the grand scheme of things. You know, assuming you live a normal lifespan, right? It's going to be a drop in the bucket. I felt like I've wasted years before, but if you're lucky, you get a lot of them. And at 18, there's time to make just about any change you want to make.
Yeah, man. So for one, check out the book, All the Shit I Wish I Knew in High School. Check out the audiobook and check out the chapter on strength and fitness. Because one of the things that I've talked about in there that is absolutely true is that most of the people that I know that are the strongest started training young. But when I say young, I'm talking about 18, 19, and really starting to put in the time. That's when your body's at that place where you can start to do, especially for something physically demanding, you're in the prime time of building.
Yeah.
And for perspective, I started weightlifting when I was seriously, when I talk about starting weightlifting, I mean looking at it the same way you are. I decided I wanted to do it because I'd never seen something that looked as technically challenging, but so much fun in such a short amount of time, right? So I don't like endurance anything. Max effort something was awesome for me, and I just found the mechanics of it fascinating. At the same time, I was not strong. I did not have a history of being in the gym, any of this. So it was brand new for me. And when I started, I was 32 years old when I seriously started. And within 5 years, I'd won 2 state championships. And that's not a brag, that's not a flex. I'm just saying that when you are that into something and you put your time and effort into it, even at that's old for a weightlifter. And I was by no means a national level phenom or anything. Local legends, which you can call me. But to get that much better that quickly is because of the passion I had for it. And if that's the passion that you have and you want to go on adventures and you're thinking about competition, great. If that's what motivates you, absolutely, you can become phenomenal in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And you've got your best years ahead of you is the best part.
But, one, don't get so fixated on the winning the competitions that it ruins all the fun, right? This is part of your life journey. You should enjoy it as much as you can. The other thing is, think of examples where somebody started way younger than you, even 5, 6, 7, and doing something. Anybody remember Little Hercules? Did you ever see this guy?
You're talking about Pocket Hercules? The weightlifter?
No. It was called Little Hercules or Little Tarzan or something like that. This kid started gymnastics and weightlifting and calisthenics and stuff when he was 4, 5, 6. shredded, best abs I've ever seen, muscular. Flash forward, he's a teenager. He just looks like an average, out of shape teenager. I think what happened in his situation was he started so young, and I think his parents were driving him so hard
that at 6, yeah, bro,
that it just ruined everything for him.
Yeah, the best years that I enjoyed weightlifting were the trip up, the journey up, learning how to do it correctly, hitting weights and being able to progressively move up pretty quickly. Once you get toward the top tier, man, the difference that separates you from the next best person is so thin, and you can train your ass off and make such marginal gains that it almost loses the fun unless you are that passionate about it. So absolutely, dude, this is the time. Enjoy the next couple of years. Enjoy the learning process. Even if you never compete, learning the new skills and the big gains in the beginning is the best part of any journey.
You are absolutely right. The trip up, because I can tell you, and I know Tom can, the trip down sucks. It does. It is soul crushing.
And you could literally fall off a cliff in your case, but
oh, shit. Nice.
No, the point is, yeah, man, you're young enough. You do whatever you want. You're absolutely young enough to do whatever you want.
It's never too late.
And that goes for anybody. Like Will said, if you can still walk and move, go climb rocks, bro. If that's your thing, go do it. No, I've tried it. I'm terrible at it.
It's crazy. I used to do it in college. We had a setup in one of the gymnasiums where there was like a permanent rock wall and you could just go and climb it. It was a lot of fun. I never got super into it, but it reminds me that year a little over a year, I took off from working out, lifting weights and stuff, and I did gymnastic style workout, calisthenics, things of that nature. As I was looking into that, deciding whether or not I wanted to use their system and their tools and resources, I was reading testimonials, and there was a man that was in his 70s that gave a testimonial, and he had gone from sedentary to doing this, and he was able to pursue rock climbing because that was something he always wanted to do, never was, because of the strength and flexibility and dexterity that he gained in using their program.
Yeah, man. So actually, that's a really good point. When we're talking about SMART goals, let's run a SMART goal on this rock climbing idea.
Sure.
And just model how that could look and some things to think about.
This could be hard because there's a couple different aspects. So if we focus on the adventure aspect, that could be a little bit harder to have a clearly defined goal around it. Unless your goal was to go on X number of trips, to ensure that you were maintaining adventure in life, the spirit of adventure.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's all you're doing is setting, all right, this is a new thing I want to try. I'm going to commit to going twice a week to a rock, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So putting something in place. Isn't that the measurable part, though?
Yeah, so I may have jumped ahead a little bit, but specific, I think, is what I was getting at.
Okay.
You could say, I want adventure in my life. What's that look like? Specifically, I don't want to sit on the couch and rot for the next 50 years. I want to get out of my comfort zone and do this, go on a trip, a rock climbing, like a destination type thing, 4, 5, 6 times a year, right? And as part of that, you could also have a goal of, like you said, going to a rock climbing gym or joining a group however many times a week. That is also part of the measurable, but you're also being specific about what the goal is. So what is the ultimate goal? Pick one that kind of encapsulates everything. Is it the adventure? Is it the competition? Is it the winning? And then build everything else from there. So specifically, we have to pick one to kind of walk this example out. Do you want to go with the adventure or?
Yeah, let's do adventure for sure.
So
that's his first #1 goal.
Yeah. So specifically, you want to go on one destination rock climbing event a month. So you put them on your calendar and you do it. So you're being very specific about the outcome you want for the following year.
Okay.
Your specific also covers measurable to an extent because you have 12 events on your calendar that you want to pursue. Whether or not you do them, check it off each month as you go through the calendar. I missed this one this month. But as you go along, you're gaining this sense of, am I winning or losing? Am I moving this goal forward? Do I keep pushing this off? And if you do, maybe it's a good point at which to reconsider how serious you are about this goal. But more importantly, you're able to measure your progress.
Okay. And then
is it attainable? Is it attainable? Is it realistic for you to go on 12 trips a year? Do you have the financial resources? Do you have the base level experience to do this safely?
So when you're talking about attainable, it doesn't necessarily have to be X number of times either. Mm-hmm. If this is your first year rock climbing, your goal's not going to be, I'm going to Yosemite and I'm doing Half Dome. Maybe you just want to go to Yosemite and hang out bouldering for a little bit and learn from some other guys and get into the culture a little bit. that still can be a really achievable thing that's going to push you to say, you know what, I got to get the basics down so I don't look like a complete tool when I get out there, knowing that I'm not going to be an expert. So it's progress, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then R is realistic.
Right.
So that
so
kind of covers
yeah,
that
covers
thing.
that. A lot of these, there's a lot of overlap with them. Is it realistic for you to go summit Everest? Probably not if you're just getting into it. I know that's not specifically rock climbing, but I think it's in that vein, right? It's just not realistic. Is there somewhere local you can go? Probably. That's pretty realistic. So maybe your goal is to go to that first place, and with your team, your group, whoever it is, or like Tom said, just go and immerse yourself in the culture, start meeting people, talking to them, getting tips. Here's one thing that I love with every fitness thing I've been involved in. Anybody that has any experience or knowledge loves sharing it with new people.
Oh, yes. Just be careful who you get it from, because
Absolutely.
a lot of people think they have knowledge and they don't know shit. It can really set you back. So make sure that you watch them first, see what type of, how do they move? How do they look? Do they look like they know what they're doing? Is the technical aspect of what they're doing on the wall, does that say to you, yes, that's someone I'd listen to? That's the key thing. Listen to your gut when you're taking advice from some of these folks. But absolutely, anyone that has experience truly would love to share it with you, because they have the passion still. And when they see that in someone else, all they want to do is share that passion. That's what you're bonding over, is the passion. It's not, oh, I need to show you the right way. It's, man, I love this too. Let's talk about it and let me share what I know and what I've learned.
True passion.
Yeah.
It's almost like it can't be controlled, right? Yes. I cannot help talking about fitness and nutrition. I just can't. If you open that door a little bit, I'm kicking it the freak in, and we're talking for hours.
That's 100% true. I can't walk into a gym and see somebody doing an Olympic lift and not immediately go into coach mode and like, oh, fuck, let me show you. Can I show you? Can I tell you one thing? It's like I have to fight all of that and be like, no, shut up, bro. Shut up. They don't want to hear
be that guy. Yeah.
But
unless they want you to be, and then I'm there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, dude, you're at a great spot in your life. I'm very envious of you. I think that's the thing that we both were saying ahead of this is like, just, man, to go back and be 18 again, to know what I know now about what I love doing and have the body to be able to do it well. Heck yeah, I'll take that.
Dude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, get out there. Don't be afraid to do it. And the only other thing I would say is, as we're talking about setting yourself up for success with this, rock climbing is one of those things that it is sneaky hard. It sounds like you have some experience with it, but start training pull-ups, do some finger grip stuff, start working on all the things you're going to need. Core strength is incredibly important for rock, all of it.
Yeah.
But start training and getting into the training of it as well, because something you think you're going to love, you realize how much work it takes. A lot of times that can be enough to blunt that and I'm not doing that, right?
Yeah.
So if you know what kind of work goes into it, start doing the work ahead of time and prepare yourself for it. Yeah, a lot of ways you can go with that.
Yeah. And then just to round it out, the T is time-based, right? Because what good is a goal if you don't attach a date to it? Is this something you want to do, or you want to start doing, or you want to do one of these events? Assign a time to it. Don't let yourself just kick the can. There's things I've kicked the can on for 40 years. I'm sure there are things you've occasionally thought, I'll get around to that eventually, right?
I can think of 10 off the top of my head right now. Yeah.
Look at you, overachiever. Yeah. Apply a timeline to it and then pursue it. Get after it.
Yeah, man. Good luck with it. Let us know how you do.
I'm excited for you. I really am. That's such a good position to be in.
Yeah, anybody at this age, man, your whole life is ahead of you. You have so much opportunity to do whatever you want to do, become whoever you want to be. Just take it step by step, small pieces, and know why you're doing it. Whatever it is, know why you're doing it, and it will be so much easier. Just freaking enjoy the journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because again, the journey, the way up, that's the fun part. That's the good stuff. And you will have days where you think, man, this is going so slow, I'm not making any progress, but suck it up, because that is as good as it gets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, waiting for that next breakthrough.
I don't want to muddy the waters here, but I'll just add to it. If this is something you're not that experienced with and you get into it and you find you're not in love, again, it's never too late to make a change. Find something else you love and pursue that. And when you find true passion, that's when you never let those bad days talk you out of it.
Yes.
But you'll know the difference between something you're like, yeah, that's kind of cool, and something I have to do.
Yes.
Just because I have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the perfect description of weightlifting for me.
Yeah,
I was always the lazy guy that did minimal effort on every workout I ever did through high school. And I saw this sport, and all of a sudden I was so addicted to it so quickly. I'd never experienced that. I played baseball my entire life, and I quit baseball the day that I was standing in the outfield. During a game, I'm playing center field, and my mind is on snatch technique and how going through the pull. And I was like, oh shit, all right, well, that now has supplanted baseball as my number one love.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew. And so, not that you're going to have that moment where it's all you're thinking about all the time, but man, if it is, dive in and enjoy it. Learn as much as you can. And
yeah, absolutely. Similarly, for you, it was weightlifting. For me, it was lifting weights. And I'd done martial arts for years and years, and I was teaching martial arts, and I was just all into it. And then here comes lifting weights and working out. And then all of a sudden, I didn't have time for both, and martial arts went the way of the dodo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be okay with that, too. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to change. You find out you don't like it, and you're 6 months in on your goal. Screw it, man. If you're not loving it anymore, cut and go. Do something else. That's the beauty of being young and having all these choices and options ahead of you. So enjoy it.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, I think that about covers it.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to touch back on the stuff we talked about today. If you're interested in checking out the audiobook, I recommend listening to The Truth About Fitness. I recommend listening to the chapter about I should have everything figured out by now. And also, failure is final. And that's a lie, right? That's the title of the chapter is a lie, but failure is final is one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves. Get into that, listen to that in conjunction with this episode, and I think you'll be in a good spot.
3 solid pieces of advice.
Right on, brother. Well, hey, this is a lot of fun. I missed you.
Yeah, man.
Glad to be back at it. And yeah, chat again soon.
Yes, sir. Take care, brother.
Later.